Welcome to another episode of the Sports Shed podcast. Live here. Your host, Efren. To my right, Jack. And to the left side of our screen is Zach on the yellow hoodie. And so called Miami Dolphins fans. I'm taking a wild guess that's what he is KG, but we can all call him Keith. I'm not calling you KG. There's only one KG, and that's Kevin Garnett. Go Celtics.
I'm older
So
than
we're
him, so I'm the true
gonna.
KG.
I have a feeling Kevin Garnett may have something to say to you about that, but that's just me.
Just maybe.
So we're gonna go straight forward right into the NBA. But before we go going into the NBA finals, I just want to send out a quick shout out here to the two teams that were eliminated in the Eastern Conference. First, the Knicks. Me being from the city, I know that I have a lot of friends and family back home that they were excited the way the Knicks played this year. And to be honest with you, with the exception, being a little biased of the Celtics, that was probably the most exciting NBA team in the playoffs this year for several reasons. One, Jalen Brunson playing lights out even while injured. Let's all be honest, none of us saw that coming, and neither did I. But Jalen Brunson put the Knicks back on the map, and I'm glad because the NBA really does need the Knicks. I missed the Knicks since the '90s. That's how long it's been for them. I'm sure they probably sprinkled a few playoff appearances here and there along the way, but nothing like this the '90s with Patrick Ewing and company. So I look forward to seeing the Knicks in the postseason in the near future. Um, what this tells me, though, is with all due respect to this gentleman, is if the Knicks are listening out there, and I know I've spoken to a lot of fans back home, you don't need Julius Randle. Um, you've got big men, you've got extremely great role players, but I think the Knicks are actually one superstar away. Now, who would that be? Many people have actually mentioned Donovan Mitchell, but I don't really think the issue is not who that player is. The issue is, are they going to be able to fit in Thibodeau's system? Thibodeau is defense first, and everything else is a second. It's a distant second. All of us here should know he's one of the main reasons why the Celtics won the title back in 2008, because he was one of our assistant coaches, and it was his defensive scheme that allowed us to win the 17th title in franchise history. So kudos to Thibodeau, even though a lot of people may not like playing for him, but he must know something, a thing or two. So it's just a matter of who could fit in his system. Along the way, though, we were able to sweep the Pacers 4-0. And again, kudos to the Pacers. That is a young, up and coming team. I think just like the Knicks are. And Halliburton unfortunately got hurt the last 2 games. And I know a lot of people are going to say that the Celtics had an easy ride. But you know what? To say that, it's actually discrediting what the Cavaliers did this year, what the Knicks did this year, and what the Pacers did this year. It's not our fault or anyone's fault that they actually were injured. But to be honest with you, I don't know how you guys feel, but them being swept 4-0, it felt like it was a 7-game series the way it was played out. I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, we proved it during the regular season with 60 wins. So, I mean, they can't really say anything about it was easy because, 60 wins, you can't really say much about it. Like Dad said, it's not our fault. So,
and just to be accurate, though, I know he says 60 plus, but 64 wins. And I just kind of feel like, it's not so much as a shade to the Celtics. It feels more like a shade to the other teams, because that Pacers game, I'm going to be honest with you, we should have had lost at least, in my opinion, 2 games. At least.
Mhm.
Definitely game one. Definitely. But I don't know what you guys think. It felt like a 7-game series to me, even though it was a sweep.
I mean, it's kind of just an unfortunate situation because they had to deal. Yeah, they went up against like teams that had injuries, but it's one of those where it's either they take care of business, win in 4 or 5 games, and
and
it's
that's what they
they had to deal with they went up against injuries, or it's okay, they have to go through those injuries, and now they're going 6, 7 games in those series, and it's like, are the Celtics like for real? Like they're barely winning against teams that. So it's like it's either one or the other. It's either they take care of business, winning 4 or 5 games. It's injuries, or let's say they go 6, 7 games in those series, and then it's like Celtics. They're not looking like the Celtics. I'd be worried for them. So it's like it's kind of like a lose-lose situation. Is kind of how people are making it seem.
I mean, in the playoffs, they kind of resembled what they did during the season. Like when they played teams that they were supposed to beat, they struggled for some reason. Or when they had big leads, they started playing, out of their
To
the
their
way they
level
were,
of comp-
playing.
to their level of
And
competition,
I think that's
basically.
what happened in the playoffs. That Halliburton was out. They were expected to win, but for some reason they struggled, which was I don't know. That's just what they've done all year. Every game that I watched. But
Well,
like you said, yeah, it did seem like it was a 7 game series.
I think
somebody
they
hit it
showed a
on
little bit of everything in this playoffs. They showed
right.
that, um, for the first 2 series that when they won, they were blowing them out, and then in this previous series, that they showed that when they have those games that are close, that they pulled away, they found a way to win. That's how I look at it these playoffs so far.
Well, you hit it right on the head, Zach. Like others have been saying on other shows, they took care of business. We if this series would have went 7, and even though the Celtics would have won, even in 6 or in 7, what would be the biggest topic or the biggest conversation right now? Why did it take 6 games? Why did it take 7 games with Halliburton out? At the end of the day, they took care of business. Okay, they beat Miami 4 games to 1. They beat Cavaliers 4 games to 1, and they swept the Pacers 4 games to 0. They took care of business, and at the end of the day, that's what matters the most. And in regards to that, and as a result, now some people kind of question it, but I didn't have any qualms with it, and I'll say why. Um, Jalen Brown winning the Larry Bird Eastern Conference Finals MVP. I'm not downing what uh, Tatum did. He averaged over 30 points, averaged almost 11 rebounds, but he was still struggling from 3. And I believe in game 2 or game 3, he was struggling so bad that at one point he had 4 points in the first half. He ended up with 23. So, yeah, he averaged over 30, but it didn't feel like it was a dominant 30. It didn't feel like it was a dominant 11 rebounds per game. It felt more like, yeah, I got my points. I did what I have to do, but it just didn't feel dominant. Whereas Jalen Brown, on the other hand, he saved us in game 1 when he hit that game time shot with like 4 or 5 seconds left. In the second game, he basically took over with 40, and we blew them out by 20. And then in games 3 and 4, he did his part. But the part that people forget was, especially in game 4, was his defense. He actually stepped it up where he either had to grab a steal, or I believe in game 1 as well, when he actually ended up hitting the tying game, the 3-point tying shot. People forget prior to that, we're down by 5, we scored, and then on the inbounds play, he deflected, and then Indiana Pacer actually hit the ball going out of bounds. To me, I know qualms. In my opinion, he deserved the MVP because of all the things that occurred at the time when we needed him to do something. And we always were like, when is he going to step up in the postseason? And he did.
Yeah, to me, he's the reason we didn't lose a game. He's to me he's the reason why we swept. We swept them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was just consistent. He showed up every single game, and he won us. Game like he clearly won us game 1, but he showed up every game and did what he was supposed to do, and that's the difference from what Tatum. Like he had the couple big games, but he had 2 other games I believe that where he was kind of like,
And,
you know,
we can't forget about Drew Holiday.
Oh,
What he did
oh
down the stretch.
man.
yeah,
He had some
But
huge steals and rebounds and
Mr. Holiday, my apologies. I'm good. I'm glad that my partner brought your name up because I'm telling you right now, when that trade happened, I just felt that the NBA's finals was ours. And but Drew Holiday did step up. I'm gonna be very honest. He did.
he's
can say
Marcus Smart, but more in my opinion
Yeah, I think
because he's a better scorer than Marcus. He's more consistent. But that the defense for the 2 of them is they didn't lose much.
yeah. I believe it wasn't it games 3 and 4. He had big and ones
Mm.
both times around the end of the game. Like he
I mean,
showed
in
up.
one of the games, I believe he scored 26 or 28. In another game, he scored over 20. And then when
He
he
averaged 17.
yeah, and then when he didn't score, Derek White did his part. So everybody contributed. The bench contributed. Hauser had a hard time in this series. I believe he went for like 2 for 14 or 2 for 15 from three. But I like the fact that Tanner would go up to him and say, "Keep shooting, man. We got you. You just keep shooting." So I know he had a
Same thing with
really
what he was doing with Pritchard.
same thing, and you need Pritchard. We need that bench. I don't know how Cornette is gonna do because I know his left hand or left wrist. I'm not really sure. In one of the games, he actually was taken out, and then he had a kind of like a black uh, cast, or I'm not really sure what he had in his hand, but it was more of a protective gear because he was in his street clothes.
I think
But
it depends how much they play Kristaps. Because he was pretty much getting Al Horford's minutes, and Al Horford was playing Kristaps' minutes. So I think it depends how much they play him.
Yeah, we can't forget about not having Porzingis in that
that's
series. I mean, he's our threat to bring the big guys out to guard him on the 3-point line. And Horford, yeah, he had that one game he hit 7 threes, but
mhm.
then he showed his age in a couple of the other
Some
games.
other games, yeah.
You know,
And I think a lot of people actually do know, hey, he is showing his age, but when it's at those moments when we needed him a defensive stop, he would
Yep.
get those key blocks as well. And that's why it's really important and he's been practicing with the team. And I know Porzingis is projected to be back for game 1 of the NBA finals, which
and you know
actually
he's going to try his hardest to get back.
some people say we'll take a 60 or 7% Porzingis with versus him not playing at all. So which kind of leads us now to the NBA Finals. The Mavericks beat the Timberwolves 4 games to 1. The Timberwolves. It was tough because someone needs to tell Carl Anthony Towns, especially in that series. What were you doing shooting threes, man? What were you doing?
He can shoot threes though.
No, and I get it. And believe me, there are situations and series, but my understanding is I don't remember who was guarding him, but he had the size and the strength.
I don't really know because
His problem is he commits so many silly fouls that causes him to be out of the game. Because last game was his game,
Yes.
or the game before, and he committed
it
like
was the game.
4 out of the 6 fouls were just like I think beyond the 3-point line, and he's just committing silly fouls.
Yeah,
You
the
you
game
know
they won, he had
the
two clutch threes.
what does they say? The most important
Yeah.
ability is availability. You can't be injured, and then when you're playing, you can't just be committing these fouls. And that was his thing, I believe, all postseason, and it eventually hurt him in the last series. That was his big thing.
He hurt him
And-
more than he helped him.
Yeah, and the thing is, as a matter of fact, that game that Jack just mentioned, that when he hit those 2 threes and they ended up winning the game, what happened was he picked up like 3 out of the, I believe, I don't know if he ended up fouling
He fouled out.
He fouled out. So they said 3 out of the 6 fouls, possibly even 4, were dumb fouls.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to have seen him a little bit more in the post game. I don't remember who was defending him. I don't recall who it was. I don't know if it was Lively, but I don't remember. But I know that they said that whoever was guarding him, he actually had the mismatch. He was actually taller, stronger, and he should have been posting up just a little bit more. Yes, he can hit threes, but he should have posted up a little bit more, which would have helped not having to foul. But at the same time, that's still no excuse for him fouling out. But
It is also, I'm not gonna say it's tough, but like when you got Gobert who really can't do anything offensively and he's just clogging the paint. That's why, like, I think Nas Reed, could have been a little bit more offensively because they played Gobert a lot for defensive reasons.
the 6-man player of the year. Yeah,
And Gobert can't do anything offensively except stand on the block. So
This-
it's like,
This was Zach during the game. He's trash every time.
Ooh,
Pointed
Gobert.
out every time.
he
was
has
just
no offensive game. Like,
it was bad when you really focused in on and watched him.
but
It was
at the
bad.
but at the same time, for being defensive, who was it? Was it Charles? Was it, who was it? Was it Charles Barkley or somebody on first take? For someone who won defensive player of the year, someone said he needs to give back that award because
He shouldn't even have won it.
I
Like,
don't believe he should have won it. I believe Wemby should have won it.
I
In
think
my
so.
opinion.
I think I seen a stat or something where when Wemby was on, they were like the number one defense, and then like without him, they were like number 30. I could have sworn I heard that stat somewhere, but
Which would
like,
make
and
sense.
then they
I mean,
showed when Gobert missed that game that they like blew him out in the one game in the postseason.
I just don't think that
Well,
Gobert. Listen, Gobert got cooked in the Denver series. Even though Minnesota won, he got cooked. And then against the Dallas Mavericks, Luca cooked them. Okay, so at the end of the day, as great as a defensive player he may have been during the season, he didn't show up in the postseason defensively. But moving along with the Dallas Mavericks being the Western Conference champions and Luca winning, I believe, the Magic Johnson Western Conference Finals. It's going to be a matchup. Obviously, we all know Celtics and the Mavericks. The subplots are, as we all know, Kyrie Irving coming back to Boston, Porzingis going back to Dallas. But the story is not so much Porzingis going to Dallas. We all know the storyline is basically going to be Kyrie coming back to Boston. And I saw this stat. Remember when he stomped on the logo?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Ever since then, Kyrie is 0-10 against the Celtics
Don't step on the leprechaun.
since he's done that. So I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. You guys can start. You tell me what you all think. What's your prediction? What's the matchup? And what's gonna be the key to winning the series by either team?
I mean, if I start, I think it will be Celtics in 6. I think, um, they when it comes, they've been one of the best teams defensively, and any of them can really just like switch, and guard, whoever they switch onto. Um, I think obviously with Luke and Kyrie, I think they'll pull a couple of games off. Um, and I think with Kristaps returning, I think if he can just hit those 3-point shots that Al Horford got, I can't really see us losing the series. I mean, just hit open threes, occasional post ups, and should win. But that's my take.
I'm going Celtics in 5. I think they're only losing one game. And as far as Kyrie, I think every time he touches the ball, he's getting booed. I don't think it's warranted because I liked him when he was with us. It's just they had different plans, for the future, and that's the two that are there right now with the you know, what I'm saying?
The J brothers,
The Jays, yeah. I don't know why, I just couldn't even think of their name just
I think personally, I mean, I'm a Celtics fan, so I'm gonna go with the Celtics just off of bias and 7. But I mean, there's been a lot of talk about how the Celtics are gonna guard Luca, mainly because that man loves his screens. Gafford and Lively, they've set him 59% of the screens in the playoffs, which is a lot. But to me, that's really not like that big of a deal, mainly because the 2 games that we did play them in the regular season, we had Tatum guard the the big who like Lively, he guarded Lively, and then Brown would guard Luca, so that we can switch. So the screens aren't gonna be that much of a problem, but it's the shooting. They've shot what was it? They've shot 37.2% from 3 in the playoffs. So I don't think we should help off of the shooters. So the ISO, that's what Luca loves, and that's how he mainly gets his points. So it's just gonna basically be man to man defense off that screen. So that's gonna be, I think, the do or die is if we can guard him off the ISO. and maybe the big man could step up when I don't know, but I do think we have a deeper team. You have Pritchard, who's averaging 7.5, 2.3 assists. He's shooting 45.5% from three. Sam Hauser shooting 33.3%, and Al Horford's averaging 9.9. And then you got the Mavs, who have Lively at 7.2, Max Kleber with 4.9, Josh Green with 4.8, and then Tim Hardaway with 4.6. So it does show that we have a deeper team, better bench. So I think the main thing is just stopping Luca, and then Kyrie, man, he's been stepping it up lately. So it's literally just them two.
Well,
Does anybody know Lively's status for the
well,
finals?
yeah, because I believe he didn't. I want to say he didn't play the last 2 games of the series.
I believe it was last two.
I don't know specifically what he was injured for, so I don't know. Jack, you want to see what the status is for Lively? But as far as my prediction,
Hold on, my friend. I was asking Zach this the other day. What do you guys think of putting White on Luca? Whoever we put on him is going to have to guard way out. I mean, he shoots way past 3-point line sometimes.
The thing with Derek White is that when they drive in, because and I'm not saying I personally, I don't, it doesn't matter to me if it's either Holiday or Derek White. That's how confident I feel about either or. You've got the best guard shot blocker in the entire league. That's not up for discussion. Everyone's already said it. Okay. So I'm okay if Derek White guards him. Simple fact that he can block shots. Now, at the end of the day, though, we know that I think Holiday and White are going to guard those two. Do I really want Brown or Tatum guarding one of those guys?
I mean, why not? Why not? You showed in the regular season that you can win by doing it.
Yeah, you can. If I had my choice, I'd rather have Tatum, because Brown tends to get into a little bit more foul trouble. More than Tatum does.
Me personally, I think you should just go with what works for game one. I mean, it shows in the regular season that it does work. You beat them twice, 2-0. So I mean, if it doesn't work this game, then maybe change it up. But as of right now, I think they should just stick with what they had in the regular season.
I could live with that. I
think it was game 4. White was getting cooked. I mean, he was bad that game. So I think that this is his series. He's gonna hopefully turn that around, because he had some bad games not the last game too much, but that third game. I remember I was like, man, what is he doing?
Like I said, he steps up though when we need him. That's the key at the end. But
so Derek Lively should be good to go by game 1.
Okay.
And it was his neck, if you didn't know.
Oh.
And he was available to play in game 5, so he probably sat because he knew that they would win the series.
Or at the very least, if they lost, they would have had him for game 6.
Yeah, but he was available for game 5, but he chose to sat out.
Okay, that's fine. That makes sense though. Yeah, they've been dominating the T-Wolves anyway.
And I saw that it's a pretty funny thing. It was on Instagram Reels, and it was May 27th is Derek White's day, because on May 27th last year he did hit that game winner against the Heat, the layup. And then
I remember that.
And then this year on May 27th he hit the 3 to
the
go ahead corner 3 for us to win. So that's funny.
White day. As far as my prediction, I'm not gonna say sweep, but I'm definitely gonna say 5 confidently. Reason being is that in the entire postseason, the Dallas Mavericks has not faced a defense like the Celtics. Number 2 deficiency in the entire league. You literally have 5 starters that can actually play defense. 2 of those starters, Derek White and Holiday, I believe, I'm not sure which one was a second or third, but they both made, I believe, all defensive teams in the NBA. So we can actually play defense. With Drew Holiday, the likelihood is I want him on Kyrie. Make him earn it. Make it to the point where it's going to be difficult for him. Kyrie may be known for the best handles in the NBA, or at least arguably one of the best handles in the NBA.
No, he's the best ball handler of all time.
And that's fine. You're not getting an argument from me on that one. But at the same time, I'm hoping that Drew Holiday may not be able to stop him, but can contain him. If you can contain him, then that's a plus for us. I'm taking the two J's. I'm taking Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown over the Mavs duo. Again, good.
So I just looked it up. Celtics had the second best defensive rating,
Yep.
and the Timberwolves in the regular season had the best. And then the Thunder were number 4. And then the Thunder were the Nuggets were number 8, but they didn't play them. But yeah.
And out of any of those teams, besides Rudy Gobert, but we all know he got cooked. Any of those players made defensive teams in the NBA?
I don't think did McDaniels make second team? I don't know, but he's definitely one of the top defensive players in the league, wing-wise.
Fair to say,
McDaniels.
In our case, we have 5 starters. Then we got Pritchard, and we know that I don't even does he breathe when he's running down the court? I'm just curious. Does Pritchard breathe? Because
I was just going to say, when you're talking about Holiday, when Pritchard comes in, he's not going to shut him down, but he's gonna give him a hard time.
Exactly. That's what we're hoping for. It's just to slow him down. I'm just gonna take the duo from Boston. I think we're gonna do it in 5. I think it's gonna possibly be a little situation where it's gonna possibly feel like a 7-game series, like we did with the Pacers. But I'm gonna say the Celtics in 5. Listen, we all know this. What's been the motto since the preseason? Either NBA title or bust. Not an appearance. NBA title or bust. I want number 18 to go up in one of the most historic rafters in NBA history. That's what I want to see. And I believe it's going to happen.
Like Tatum said, it's different here. And teams don't know that until they go and play at the TD Garden. You know, like I said, we went to 2 of the games, and it's just it's deafening.
Listen, I know people want to talk about LA Lakers. I know everybody wants to talk about the Mecca, New York City, the Garden. I give you all that. But it's Boston. It is Boston. You can call it whatever you want, but to me, and all the Boston, it's the Boston Garden.
But do you think it's going to be like, do you think picking Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum was an easy pick?
No. I'm not going to say Luka and Kyrie over those two was easy. No, I'm not going to say
Jaylen and Jason over Luka and Kyrie.
It's not easy because
wait, who are you picking?
Oh, I'm picking Brown and Tatum.
Okay, because you reversed it.
Oh, sorry, but what I'm saying is it's not like it's a slam dunk pick. Okay, yes, is the bias kicking out in me? Yes, it is. But one can make an argument too for Kyrie and Luka because again, last time I checked, Luka almost averaged close to a triple-double this season. And the reason Dallas was successful was because Kyrie finally admitted to himself, I am no longer the man. And that's not a bad thing. He's accepted his role. And for someone averaging over 20, I think he was averaging 25 a game. It's not too shabby to be the second man. That's just me.
Luka's a bad man. He's a bad man.
Yeah, Luka averaged a triple-double in the 2 games that he played against us this season.
And that's okay. And listen, I'm okay. I just need one of them to be slowed down. I don't need both of them. I just need one and the role players. That's all I need.
Well, I sent you those stats that they compared with LeBron, the first 360 games. I just showed Zach the same thing.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's tough, man. I just hope he's not tough in this series, and it's just he could be tough after the next year.
Listen, he's due for what is it called? He's due to slow down a little bit, miss some shots, a couple of turnovers, getting boxed out. He's due. He's due for a
Yeah.
little slump. We're not asking for his big slump. We're just asking for a little slump here in this series in the NBA Finals. But I do
Just a
think it's
little.
going to be in 5, though. Not easy 5, but in 5. So that's just me. Anybody has anything else to add in regards to the series, though?
Did you say 7, Jack?
Jack said 7.
I
I
said
believe.
7.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know. I just want it to be interesting. I don't really know.
So, with that being said, moving along to our next topic. I know that lately, for the most part, we haven't really talked about it, but because of the polarizing player that has come about out of college basketball, specifically women's college basketball, our next topic is going to be the WNBA. Caitlin Clark, how has she been doing so far in her first, I believe, 10, 11 games? What has everyone out there in social media or the actual media itself out there, sportscasters, are saying about her, and what has been transpiring? So for those of you that really have not seen Caitlin Clark, there actually has been some things that has been going on, actually, especially on the first take today. Over the weekend, there was a player. I don't know the young lady's name. I believe in Chicago. Oh, Shenedy Carter, and she actually fouled her, Caitlin Clark, and it was bad. It was a bad foul. At that moment, it was considered a common foul, and ended up being overruled at the end of the game. And rightly so. The WNBA actually upgraded to a flagrant one, and Shanity Carter, excuse me, was actually fined by a fine $1,000, appropriately so. But ever since that incident and other incidents that have been going on, I have been reading and hearing things like, WNBA players are jealous of Caitlin Clark. People owe her something. Everybody should be grateful that she be in the WNBA. I'm gonna see if you guys can hear this, okay? But I'm gonna play you a clip of the things that's been going on, and let me play you this in regards to what happened on first take.
We're talking about them maximize great potential. And because we bring that up and talk about what potentially might get in their way, which we do to men all the time, now we got to sit up here and watch every syllable. I resent that, and I'll leave it.
All right, so let me. I know we got to go to break. Welcome to the world of being a woman, Stephen A. And how you have to dance about your word choice and you have to please everybody and anybody as you navigate your being. We are talking about the world's greatest.
How about being a black man?
Okay, hold on 1 second. So this is what I'm saying to y'all though, and I know we got to go to break, and we didn't necessarily go there. Maybe we should. There are so many layers in this conversation around the way that it's being discussed. No. And yes, and I know y'all are gonna say, and Stephen A, I know you just shared that you talked about the WNBA on your program too. You guys may not have said everybody, but the prevailing sentiment for folks that are just joining the WNBA and following women's sports is unfair to the women of this league, to your point, who have laid the groundwork for Caitlin Clark to come in and now take it to the next level. That's all I'm saying in these conversations. Kennedy Carter's behavior is not indicative of the entire league. We are still talking about competition where you are allowed to get a little extra elbow in if you are competing and you do it within the parameters of the game. The game is physical. Caitlin is helping to grow the league. These women understand that, but she cannot be babied as a rookie. That's all I'm at.
All right. Who talks about the WNBA? Who talks about women? Who talks about women's sports more than first take?
Stephen A, respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to.
Wow.
All right, we gotta go. You guys.
So did you
You're my guy, but
who does more than
Stephen,
us?
I'm talking to you.
Wow.
Don't do that. I'm talking to you about the power that you have.
Okay.
I'm talking to you.
Okay.
Now, believe it or not, that take alone, that's a 2-minute and 19-second clip of a 40-minute segment on today for on first take. And it all really started with what happened over the weekend. And this young lady, Miss McNutt, called out Stephen A. Smith because it's basically, he's actually saying that everyone should be thanking Caitlin Clark for being in the WNBA. I'm going to have to disagree with that. She has been polarizing. She has brought nothing but fanfare, sellout seats, merchandise. And remember what I said before, okay? If she's going to polarize this, she's going to be a game changer, it's going to have to be the fact that she has to change the WNBA to be independently financial. Because let's be honest, right now she's not the best player. She can be, but she is not the best player in the WNBA. And to the point that people are basically saying players are jealous, people don't like her notoriety. That's really not it. She hit it right on the head. What she basically saying is that right now it feels or it seems like she's being baby. Look at her and compared to the physicality of the other WNBA players. Those other WNBA players like Diana Taurasi called her out, and so far she's been proven right. This is a different level. Not to say she doesn't belong in the WNBA, is more of this is not going to be Iowa against Indiana or against LSU or any other program she played. These are considered, if not the best women basketball players in the world. And the fact that people are actually getting upset, yes, it was a dirty foul, it was a cheap shot, but what people don't realize is that prior to that in the game, Kayla, unintentionally, let's just say it's unintentionally, Caitlin Clark took her elbow, swung it, and I'm not sure if it hit that young lady in the face or not. Why is that not being talked about? That was a cheap shot, what she did. There's no question about that. She got what she deserved. But why is it that she does that and it's not brought to light? Don't baby her. I listened to an argument somebody was saying. The main concern is we do not want the WNBA to be about Caitlin Clark. We want the WNBA to be about Caitlin Clark and all these other phenomenal players that especially have come in. Your Cameron Brooks out of Stafford who plays for LA. Cardoza that came from South Carolina. It's also Chicago Sky. The same thing with Angel Reese that's coming in. You need to market all of them. Keith, you know this better than anybody. When the NBA was about to go bankrupt, who saved the NBA?
Bird and Magic.
And Larry Bird.
Exactly. So I'm not saying that the WNBA is going bankrupt because right now the NBA is backing up financially because they're losing money. So the NBA should assist the WNBA to market everyone, not just Caitlin Clark. You have a golden opportunity, Indiana and the state of Illinois, two states that are together. And who happens to be playing in Indiana? Caitlin Clark. Who happens to be playing in Chicago? Angel Reese. Market them as a rival. Don't make this into a black and white issue. Don't make this that the black players have envious over Caitlin Clark. That isn't the case. We want her to bring the notoriety. And believe me, I'm sure that the WNBA players are grateful for that. But don't just make it about one player. Because if you do that, I'm going to tell you right now, in my opinion, I highly doubt if the WNBA succeeds. You can't make this league about one player. Yes, she's going to get the notoriety. I give you all that. She's going to get the sponsorship. I get you all that. But there are so much better players then and now that they could be getting exposure as well. But everybody is making this about poor Caitlin Clark, poor Caitlin Clark. It's what's going to get physical. You got to lift weights, lift weights. Breanna Stewart set a pick, and she's still probably feeling it from 2 weeks ago. I think I sent that to you, Keith, about that. Or you send it over to me. So, Pat McCaffrey on his show today, and he meant good intentions. He just chose poor words, and he backed and apologized, calling her the white B word. Again, he's not apologizing for his intentions. The big mistake that they're making this is into a black and white issue if that's the way they're heading. And that is a huge mistake. I am telling you right now, they should not be going into that. And right now, she's not the best WNBA player. She's actually has caused the most. She actually has the most turnovers out of the entire WNBA, with almost 6, just under 6 a game. And the thing that's going on right now is everybody's putting her stats up. Just about 16 points, I believe 5 or 6 rebounds, 6 or 7 assists, but they're not putting up the turnovers. Well, why are you leaving out the turnovers? Why? Last time I checked, that was part of the game.
I mean, I barely remember. I don't know. Okay,
What's
to
your point
talk
with
about
what's your point with the stats?
to talk ab-
The stats.
Like I'm trying to like I can speak from what I've seen, and what
Mhm,
you're saying is
mhm,
what I'm seeing. So when I
mhm,
go on my TikTok, like yeah, I'm seeing Caitlin Clark stuff because like she's like the player. Obviously, you want to market around. Like I
mhm,
get that,
mhm,
but I'm seeing other WNBA videos for the first time of other teams and other
mhm.
highlights. I've personally seen that, and
So
they
have I.
are
Yes.
trying to, show more of the league.
Mhm.
I personally have seen that because I've never gotten any other WNBA videos on my like TikTok and other social media stuff and Facebook. I've seen that,
Yes, I have too.
but with Caitlin Clark, like she is the main person you're going to market around. So obviously, when you see somebody say walk up to Caitlyn and say you're a B and then shove her, like yeah, it's going to be shown. And I agree with you in this whole race thing. Like I agree, it shouldn't be
Yeah,
just a black and white thing, but it's going to be talked about.
I know.
But I mean, like, and then I also like how Caitlin Clark handles it. She's not complaining about it. She's just saying like she's just like, look, it is what it is. Like I'm gonna, she literally just said it is what it is. Like people are gonna come at me. I don't expect people to just
And
take
to
it
her
easy on me.
credit,
So
and to her credit, she's handling well. It's really more of the outside noise, like I mentioned to you, like the Stephen A. Smith earlier on in the show when he said that the WNBA players should thank her.
I mean,
That
maybe they should. I
mm,
mean,
but here's the thing.
last year. All right,
Go ahead.
let me just say this. Did you hear anything about the WNBA last year? Did you hear about any of the crowds being sellouts?
Absolutely not.
And then you hear this
I
one
agree.
girl. You hear this one girl, not
Correct.
Cameron Brink, not Angel Reese, not whatever her name is, Angel Reese. Yeah, you heard about her last year, but it was mainly Caitlin Clark. Okay,
I agree.
she was the main person in college basketball, and she was talked about on the WNBA. Right here, it says for the first time in history, 3 different WNBA teams have completely sold out a season ticket. So the crowd was sellout.
Said that from the very beginning.
mean-
that's the greatest thing that Caitlin Clark has brought. That's the first thing I said. That's exactly what I
Okay,
said.
so without Caitlin Clark, do you think that there would be sellouts? Me personally,
probably.
no.
I would say I'm gonna say 99% because I can't foretell the future, but I'm gonna say the likelihood is no, it would not be sold out.
I don't think it's a matter of like thanking them, but I think it more is like you gotta recognize like she's bringing in fans, right? So then it's like, all right, let me go out and now just perform it and now get my name out there. Like it's not a matter of thanking her, but it's like okay, recognizing it, and then it's like, look, now I gotta go out and I'm gonna try to make a name for myself.
Yeah, it's not.
And
It's
as far as this
not,
whole like,
but let it happen.
Well, it's
race
obvious.
thing, I mean,
that
the
part.
only thing I've heard is like I heard one lady say like for Caitlin Clark, like it's white privilege and it's pretty privilege, and I'm like, that's the race stuff I'm hearing, and I'm like, first off,
Yes.
she like the girl drafted after her is a whole lot better looking than her. I'm like, so I don't understand this whole.
That's what I mean. This
Well,
whole thing.
there are other players. I'm sorry.
But that's-
There are other players that are not happy. Is because I heard like before like the season started, I heard one player say that they were upset that she got a shoot contract before she even played a game, and they're saying that they've been putting in work for years, and they didn't think that that was a fair thing to do.
I get that, and to me, I would say to those players, it's not Caitlin Clark's fault. Okay,
right?
It's not her fault.
I don't see them shooting 35 feet behind the arc.
But hold on a second. I agree with you, and that's what we have become mesmerized with, and understandably so, because let's be honest, if she doesn't shoot those 35 footers from the logo, likelihood we wouldn't hear from her. So I'm grateful that she's got the ability to do that, which again brings the notoriety to the WNBA. To your point, Keith, that one player that said it's not fair. I'll give somebody the benefit of the doubt. You're right. It may not be fair. You're going to get that in any sport. Let's be honest. Some are going to be more vocal than others. But at the end of the day, that's not something that you target Caitlin Clark for. If anything,
I think it is fair considering the top 2 watch games have Caitlin Clark in it.
No,
Like
no.
all these the most popular millions of views has come with Caitlin Clark. I mean, I'm sorry, that
I
speaks for itself.
agree, but to give
You
her
know?
the benefit of the doubt to herself, just to that player, it may not seem fair to that player. But you know what? What my point is that it's not something to take it out on Caitlin Clark. That's what I'm saying in a negative way, one way or the other. Whether on
agree.
the court by shoving her on
Yeah, I agree.
purpose. That's all I'm saying. It's if anything, oh, she got a shoe deal. Well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna lock her down and I'm gonna get my own shoe deal. Go do that. Lock her down.
Yeah,
And so
you know how
far,
many players in
You know what's crazy though is Cameron Brink, the girl drafted after her. I'm pretty sure she has a deal with New Balance too.
yeah, she's on
I've
commercials
seen
all
her
the time.
too, but like I haven't heard any complaints about that.
right. That's what
Did
I'm
you know
saying.
did you know she's like a close relative to Curry?
That's Curry's goddaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
But
I see a picture when she was this tiny. Probably when she was like 4 feet tall, she was probably 2 years old. You know,
but that's like any
tall.
player. Like, why are you going to get down on a player because they're getting deals thrown at them? It's the same thing when Michael Jordan got his deal. No one got a deal like he did when he was playing. And
If
I'm
any,
sure there was players that didn't think it was fair and this and that, but
I mean,
it
didn't
doesn't
LeBron,
matter. He got the deal. It's not his fault, you
yeah,
know.
didn't LeBron get a deal with Nike before he even played?
that's what I'm saying.
I don't hear nobody
Tiger,
complain about that.
Tiger Woods. Listen, Tiger Woods got a deal. Hold on a second. American Express, Nike, and yes, I'm going to say it, Rolex before he became a pro. Okay,
Mhm.
so there are just those generational players. In Caitlin Clark's case, it's just the polarizing popularity in her. Do I believe she's going to be one of the best in the NBA? Absolutely. But everybody's gunning for her, and that's okay if they're gunning for her. But you don't have to gun for her by sticking an elbow just because it's an inbounds play and she doesn't even have the ball, and you're basically like in hockey, body check, if that's a term. I'll leave that up to Keith. He knows better about hockey than I do. But at the end of the day, though, what I'm saying is those out there like the Stephen A. Smith. No, I don't think that WNBA players should be thanking Kayla Clark. That's going to show eventually, and let it happen naturally. I'm an WNBA player. I'm not going to go to Kayla Clark and say thank you. No, I'm going to thank you because I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to outplay you, and I'm going to get my own deal, and I'm going to get my own notoriety. But I'm not going to say thank you. Let it happen naturally. That's all I'm saying.
Well said. Well said.
That's all I'm saying. You know. So
Well, I mean, it's society. They're the ones that always pit things here and there, negatively and everything. But I mean, when LeBron James before as he was entering in the league, they praised him and made him this. Just let it play out. Let it see how she does. We saw what LeBron did. Just let the same thing happen with her. You know, give her a chance. If
you know,
if it's all hoopla and all hype and she doesn't turn out to be a good player, then so be it.
listen,
You know,
LeBron,
but give her a
LeBron-
chance. Just let it play out.
look at Anthony Bennett, like he said, the number one draft pick for Cleveland. Okay, just for the record, real quick, I never heard of Anthony Bennett to the day of the draft, but that's besides.
What draft? Oh, that draft.
I honestly, I never heard about the man to the day of the draft. That's how bad it was.
I heard about him, but he was only projected as like a 4th overall pick. Like him being drafted number 1 was like no one expected that.
That was
'Cause
like a
out of
shot in the
UNLV,
dark.
like
That was like a shot in the dark, hoping he would turn out.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, I just hope just let everything play out with the WNBA. Don't pin Caitlin Clark against the rest of the players or vice versa. Don't go out there and say, "Oh, you need to go thank her or protect." No, just let it play out. It's going to work itself out. You know what I told you earlier, what I'd rather see, man, I'll hype up the rivalry. That is what's going to get everybody talking. You got two players that literally live right next to each other, connected to each state. I want to see Caitlin Clark hit a 3 from the logo in Angel Reese's face and say, "You can't see me." Then I want Angel Reese, she tries to drive in and block the shot and say, "You saw that?" That's what I want to see. That's just me. Just let it play out. That's all. Because right now we're getting into this whole.
Hold on. So, Timothy, you're watching. Do you think the WNBA is changing rules for her? Is that what your comment is? I don't think you could see comments, Efren, but
No,
Timothy
that's
Taylor said the NBA didn't change the rules to ensure Christian Laettner and Adam Morrison, who were amazing college players, to become amazing NBA players. So I don't know if he's saying that they're changing rules for her.
I haven't heard, and I'm glad you said the gentleman is Tim.
Yeah, Timothy Taylor.
Yeah, Timothy. I'm glad he brought that up because that is one of my biggest concerns. I don't know if rule changes have been discussed to, have it like the NBA where, and again, I don't really know much about the rules, like no hand check or whatever the case may be, whatever the rule stipulates. I personally don't want the rules to be changed for the betterment of one player. Yes, I know the whole theory is going to be like, well, it applies to all the players. Listen, don't talk to me like I'm an idiot, like saying we're not going to change this rule for all the players. We're doing it for one reason and one reason only. Now, that's speculation on my part. Don't change the rules to help one player. Don't do that. Because right now, all she has to do is, listen, Indiana Fever is not a good team. They got Boston, who's really not doing well this year. She's actually digressed from last year. And it's Caitlin Clark. She doesn't really have good surrounding. So to go and try and change rules to make it easier for Caitlin Clark, listen, the numbers that she's put up as a rookie with all the defense coming at her, I'm amazed, to be honest with you, because I knew they were coming for her. So she's only going to get better. I hope they don't change the rules to make it easier for her. Draft or trade or sign better players to give her the support that she needs. That's what Indiana needs to do. And Indiana, their fans, the organization, and everybody else, listen, Caitlin Clark is no different in Indiana than, say, and I'm just spitballing here, the Seattle Storm, where they have to build. Listen, next year, I believe Golden State has been awarded a WNBA franchise. Right now, supposedly, when Paige Buckner comes out of the UConn, she's going to be the #1 draft pick. Okay? And you don't think she's going to struggle? You don't think they're going to come after her? So it's no different. I have not heard anything about rule changes to quote unquote make it easier for Caitlin Clark. No, I have not heard that as far as I know. And I hope
is
don't.
Golden State getting the #1
Yeah.
pick?
Yeah,
or
Golden
is that like a
State
couple years?
Valkyries.
They have Valkyries. Yeah, I don't know first of all, I don't know what a Valkyrie is, but yes, they are.
You know what a Valkyrie is?
I don't know what a Valkyrie is. What is a Valkyrie?
It's like a girl with like wings and like she's like a warrior type.
Okay, that makes sense. The Warriors. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Look at that. Learn something new today.
Like a
Jack
female.
spitting out knowledge.
That's what I'm saying.
It's looking like it's either going to be Washington or Indiana for #1 as of right now.
Oh, yo, imagine Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers.
I'm saying.
But again, this is what I'm saying. Let it play itself out and let the rivalry build within itself or highlight it. But again, yes, Golden State, I believe, will be getting, I could be wrong, but because of a new franchise and expansion team, I believe they will be getting the #1 draft pick.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's
Has
why
that
they say
happened in the NBA? Like, did those teams?
no.
I feel like they didn't get the #1 overall pick.
It was
got
different.
like a top 5 or something like that.
No, it didn't work out that way. When the expansions came with, I believe, with the Timberwolves, Miami, and all the other teams in Orlando. Correct me if I'm wrong, kid. What happened is every NBA team had to. What is it? You have 12 players, right? And you're only allowed to protect 8 players from every organization. And those that were not protected, then they had a separate kind of draft for those expansion teams, and they would alternate as to who they want. And that's how they ended up doing it. Correct me if I'm wrong, kid, but I believe that's how it happened.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah,
I don't think there's enough people for that. There's only 12 or 14 teams.
For the no. Zachary was asking me.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I don't think that would work for the WNBA.
No, I don't think it will.
I think they would.
I'm just talking in terms of the WNBA draft. Like, do they get the #1 pick or do they get like a 3rd, 4th pick? That's what I'm asking because I don't know.
I'm only going. I don't know that, but based on the way
in the NBA, I don't know if they have gotten the #1. I thought they've gotten like around #5 pick, but I could be wrong. Is what I'm trying to talk. Is what I'm trying to
Well, as far as the WNBA, just the way the article was written, it looks like they are gonna, because of an expansion team, they will be getting the number one pick. I don't know if that's definite, but that's just the way the article was written. That's the only answer I got for you for now. And like I said, as far as the NBA, I don't know. I don't recall them getting like a fifth pick, depending on all the other teams. But they had the expansion teams had their own draft, so to speak, among the players that were not protected by the organizations, and they were able to just build that way their teams initially. So, but that's pretty much it. Anybody else have a comment or any questions out there we'd like to address?
I think it's just, I don't know, just there's no need for all this race stuff between the Kate and Clark thing. It's just, you just gotta let them play. I mean, it's physical in the NBA, and you want equality, so you just let it be physical in the WNBA. It's not about race. I mean, I have not heard
About
one thing
basketball.
about race.
Let it be about basketball.
Literally, that's it.
All I'm saying is just let them play.
They can go on social media, and I don't want to say bash, but like they could talk trash about each other. I mean, NBA does it. I mean, but bringing up race and what sexism, like
or jealousy
sex,
or anything like that, it's just not necessary. It's not necessary. You want to say, Angel Reese can cook Kaylin Clark, or Kaylin Clark can shoot better, or she, she killed that game. Say all that. That's part of the game. That's part of the hype. That's part of the marketing. But everything else, look, it's just straight garbage. And just leave it out. It's unnecessary. Nobody owes anybody a thank you. Nobody owes anybody anything. Okay, go out and earn it. How about that? Don't pay.
In the end, it's just to get ratings.
That's all it is. Exactly. And it's just not necessary. You know what the ratings should be is who beats who and who can't see who. All right. That's the ratings at the end of the day. All right. Because at the end of the day, it's about winning the titles anyway. So
Exactly.
With that being
And
said,
we got to bring in number 18. What? Sorry. I'm off topic. My bad.
Now we're not off topic. You see that? You see that right there? You see that right there? Number 18, right there. Number 18. That's the best logo out there is. And yeah, okay, I'm being a little biased. All right. We can move on. And again, going into from the WNBA draft, these young talented players coming on board, we could potentially go from one of the most talented WNBA draft class of last year with Kaylin Clark, Angel Reese, and Brink, and Cardoza, and the rest of those players, the talented. We cannot conceivably see potentially one of the worst. And I didn't say it. There's people out there saying it, not me. I think we read it enough. We heard it enough. Conceivably, potentially, I'm not going to say the worst class, but potentially one of the worst class in NBA history.
I'm not going to lie. I don't know.
I am going to let you guys tell me how to pronounce some of these names, or I'm going to let you guys make a name or mention names. But right now, it's pretty concerning that we're going to be talking about a draft class where, quite frankly, one name is dominating the entire draft. It's unfortunate that that's the case. I know that that's just the way it is. I wish it wasn't, but it is. And I have a speculation where I believe that the reason, and again, this is just me speculating. There's no hidden agenda, just speculating. I believe one of the reasons, besides the fact playing for his father, I believe Bronny James came out was because, hey, if everybody is saying that this could be one of the worst drafts in NBA history, let me come out.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. He did do really good in the combine.
I
think he went.
No, I'm not doubting that. I read that everywhere I go, but other people, scouts, kind of doubt or have questions, which is totally understandable in regards to what he is capable of. Some people are saying that he can't shoot from the outside consistently.
Which can
Consistently from the outside. He can't hit threes consistently. He cannot hit free throws consistently. He is unable to run an offense at all. One of the best compliments that I've heard is that he can make the right pass at that moment and could potentially be a good defensive player. That's the best thing. And again, this is coming out of the combine. I am not saying it. This is not me. I'm just saying this is the best thing that I've heard coming out of the combine. The stats are not impressive. I know people want to rely a lot on the combine. The vertical leap is impressive, for 6'1", barely 6'1" guard. I believe Zachary said the fourth highest, I think it was over 40 inches vertical leap, something like that, which is impressive. But some people have said that he could potentially be a nightmare matchup for on the switch on bigger players. I mean, again, we are talking about a young man that is 6'1". So what is it exactly that he's going to be bringing to the table? He's no different than any other.
Well, so I did a lot of research and I looked at some of the other second round picks, and they don't have good numbers either. And
I'm not
when
even
you look at that, and then you look at these combine numbers, I mean, Bronny did have the better combine numbers.
So if you're not going to doubt it, then why bring it up saying how he shouldn't be drafted?
I'm going to be honest.
I can tell you players in the second round, and the numbers are not much better than Bronny James.
Listen, a lot of these players have no business being in the draft right now.
So
many of them.
Okay, so what are you going to do? Just not have a draft?
So I don't think you can knock Bronny when he wants to come and keep his name in.
Because every time
they say the weakest draft, when his other second round projection, players that are projected to be second rounders aren't putting up much better numbers. And for instance, look at the top two picks. They both played about 20 minutes, and they put up as centers or 7-footers, 6'9" for Zachary. They averaged 9 points and 3 rebounds in 20 minutes. Not much better than Bronny. So again, I can just go into, and those are just the top two. So then I could go into second rounders and talk on that. So now I don't think you can keep bashing Bronny for entering when he's a projected second rounder, when players are putting up similar numbers as he was off of 20 minutes.
But that kind of proves my point. Anybody can be drafted in this draft by default. It is one of the weakest. The fact that he's putting up numbers or is having a nice combine, I'm not doubting that. But who is he putting up the numbers against? One of the worst, if not possibly the worst draft class.
Okay, yes. Okay, but you're really emphasizing the.
So what's your problem?
These are NBA level players, but they're just not the best.
Would you like numbers from other players? Because I can
I don't want
to know
numbers.
what's your problem, because I know that other players are projected with similar numbers.
It's horrific.
The point that we're trying to make.
So what's your problem with it though?
So what's the point of the combine then? If we're just going to go by what's the point of it?
I didn't say that there's no point in the combine,
why then say we're just going off of the combine?
But I'm not going to go off and simply say he should be a first or projected based on what he did in a combine. I mean, they actually said, again, the man right now, they interviewed 2 executives. Okay. And again, there's just simply 2 executives. And all I'm saying is that right now they said he's not NBA ready. I believe I sent that over to you, Keith. And again, these are people.
So are you saying that majority of this draft then isn't ready?
Oh,
he's
absolutely.
Putting up similar numbers as some of these other players.
Absolutely.
Then why just talk about Bronny?
Because he's
so then it is what it is. Like, this whole draft sucks, and that's it.
Okay. Ask that question again.
I said, then why just talk about Bronny?
Why is everybody talking about Bronny?
No, why are you just talking about Bronny, saying how he's not NBA ready and what yada yada them?
Right.
We're bringing up these stats,
Right.
saying how most of these second rounders are doing worse than him.
Right. And my point is that none of them at this point even belong in the NBA.
No, you never said that.
That was not your point.
Said that.
That's not your point. Your point
you
was
just focused on Bronny.
What I said was I don't even know any of the other players.
So they should.
Okay,
and I'm telling
because
you
the only person
that Bronny has put up similar numbers.
Is him.
So then your point is kind
of
flawed.
So then when you have players putting up similar numbers and Bronny is having better combine numbers, and in the second scrimmage game is the MVP of that game. I mean, yeah, I think it is fair when you consider him just a second round pick. I think that's fair.
Okay. I mean, y'all want to hold your head on a combine? All right, you guys can hold.
No, I'm not holding my hand on anything. I'm just saying I'm looking at numbers.
And then
then when they have similar numbers or not much better numbers, and then you go to the combine and Bronny has the second best shooting numbers, is the fourth best vertical, and out of the two scrimmage games, he's the MVP of one of them.
But he's so fantastic.
I think that is respectable of a potential second round pick. That's all I'm saying.
No way he's going to sign a two-way contract. Other teams invited him. Yeah, I'm not going to go to 8. I'm only going to the Lakers and the Suns, which is fine. Listen, I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay with that. But what I'm saying is let's call out the real reason why he's going into the draft. All I want people to just simply say is, yes, I want to play with my father. I'm okay if you say that. But don't come out and say he's the MVP in the second game of a combine
game.
He
was.
Okay,
he was.
But that's not going to make me draft him. That's not going to make me say, oh, wow,
that's
man,
fine.
He can do this, he can do that. My point is this. If he's going to come out, and I want him to play with his father, trust me, because if I'm in the NBA and you guys are potential NBA, of course I'm going to sit here and say, I want to play with my children. That doesn't mean that I'm going to get upset because people out there are saying that I may potentially and controlling where my son is going or he's not signing a two-way. My point is that this is happening because of his father. That's all I'm saying. Let's not make this out to be that this kid is the chosen one, Junior. Not that anybody.
No one said no one said that. Nobody here said that.
I can't be making that stuff.
No. I'm not making.
You're just making that up.
No. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Let's not act. Hold on a second. From a media and the exposure of it. From the exposure of it. Let's not act like he's gonna be the next big thing next to
no one has.
Right.
No one has.
Right. Exactly. But what I'm saying is from the next all I'm saying is that this is all happening, in my opinion, because of his father. Let's call it for what it is. I have no problems that he's coming into the NBA. I'm happy for him.
Technically,
that's all I'm saying.
Technically speaking, if you want to say that way, all of these players are here because of their father. I mean,
all right.
Technically,
now okay. But
technically speaking,
that's a good one.
Technically speaking, because of their mothers giving birth, is why they're in the NBA. Okay, now that's a cute answer.
Oh wait, no, I didn't mean it like that. I meant like they gave them the stuff to actually go pro. Okay?
Right. And we can also say,
yes, there are NBA players
we can also say that the mothers gave birth to them to have the ability to go play.
Okay, you just didn't hear me.
He's making fun of you. That's what he was doing.
I know he's making.
And you
fun
took
of
it literal.
No, I know that. I'm doing the same thing to him. Sorry if it didn't come out that way.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that at the end of the day, the reason this is all happening is because of his dad. That's all I'm saying.
I think it's happening because it's a weak draft. He showed up for the combine, put up good numbers, and he's been a projected second round pick because of it. I think had he done poor, had he not shown up, had he not done what he did, he would. I think it's possible then that he would have gone back. But just going off of what happened, he's the projected second round because of that.
And
that.
And
What are you saying?
And
That's my opinion, and because I'm going off of
I'm
other
agreeing-
players' numbers,
I'm
he put up
agreeing
similar numbers
You're
like
not.
that.
No,
Other
you're
players.
not.
Yes, I am. I just
Because
simply,
if you were
I'm
agreeing,
agreeing.
if you were agreeing with us, then you wouldn't be disagreeing with us.
What I'm saying, add the factor that his father is in the NBA and arguably one of the GOATs in the conversation. That's all I'm saying. Add that to it. That's all I'm asking. If I'm giving you all the factors that you've said, all I'm asking you is to agree, yeah, that's also a factor. Why is that so hard for the both of you to say that?
Well, maybe
Why
because I've not heard one NBA. I've not
Stop. Give me a break.
What?
You're telling me. Hold on a second.
Can I speak?
Go ahead.
I have not heard one NBA team or anybody say, you know what? We're gonna draft Bronny because of his dad.
Nobody's gonna say that right away. Going. First of all, no one's.
So then you can't speak on that.
What? Oh, I can't speculate.
You can, but there's no proof behind it.
Speculate, but you can't make it this astronomical big thing.
What I'm saying is,
oh my gosh, Bronny James is gonna be the next chosen one,
right?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah, you said that.
What I'm saying is, add dad to the factor.
And respectfully, I cannot.
Why not?
Because
I'm looking just at Bronny and what Bronny has done. I'm not factoring in his dad, because yeah, he didn't put up the best numbers in college, but neither did a bunch of other second-round picks.
Right.
He went to the combine just like some of those other ones, and he outperformed them. And because of that, he's a projected second-round pick.
Okay, so out of all the worst, including him, he happens to be the best of the worst. Fair?
Yeah, fair? Because apparently it's not the strongest draft. So that's fair.
I can't believe I actually got one of them to agree on a factor. But I'm keeping
that. He never said that.
He just did.
And we didn't.
I've said the same thing this whole time.
I said, okay, so he's a projected, like Zachary. I'm just quoting him. If I misquote him, correct me. He said based on what he did in the combine and all the things, jumping abilities and everything, he raised his stock to be a potential second round draft pick.
And that wasn't your point.
So
yeah,
what I said after that, just now.
Okay.
So you're saying that he happens to be the best out of the worst.
Well, according to you, then yeah, because
that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Well, by default, they say it's not the strongest draft, and
okay, but that wasn't all you.
According to the stats,
that's just what it is.
I never said that was all I was saying.
Yeah.
I'm factoring in who his father is. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I don't really factor because somebody's dad. I don't see it that way. I think if you're good enough to play, you're good enough to play.
I would like to hear Keith's opinion. I respect all your opinions. All I'm saying is I'm factoring that into the equation. That's all I'm saying. Keith?
Well, I think his media coverage comes because of his dad.
Yes.
But like you said, his numbers are compared to players that aren't that great in this draft. So his numbers are the best or up there, to what he's being compared to. But his coverage and everything obviously comes because of who his dad is.
Yeah, I agree because of the coverage.
And I'm not disputing that. All I wanted to say, or I just want somebody to say, yeah, I'm factoring his father being in the NBA and who he is. That's all I've been saying this whole time as well.
I think Bronny wants to go in the league because he has a chance to get drafted and play in the league. That's what I think. I don't think he's like, oh, my dad's in the league. Let me just go. I don't think that.
Any player would that. I would agree with that. That I agree with. Absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
If it's true that he got a $900 million deal to play overseas and he's turning that down, then that shows that he wants to be in the NBA.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If he makes it in the NBA, that's a different story.
Correct. Now the question becomes, here's the question. What do you potentially see him as his maximized potential and or role in the NBA, excluding not taking his two fathers into account, because the 1 or 2 years that potentially LeBron James has left before he's retired, not taking his father into account, what do you think is the potential realistically in the NBA for him and his role?
I kind of look at him kind of like an Avery Bradley.
Yeah.
Good defense. If he develops a better outside shot,
Avery
then
Bradley,
he could
Yeah,
be
I could see him as like
some type of role player
I
on a
could see him,
team.
Patrick
honestly,
Beverly.
with maybe I don't know about his defense. I could see him as like a Derek White. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, you're talking about
I think Derek White.
well, Derek White built his way or improved his way.
Exactly.
Right.
15 was it like 15 points a game? Or am I wrong? I just would like somebody to grab that stat. I'm not sure. I know it was double
15, I
digit.
think.
Yeah,
I'm
15.
not saying that Bronny James is gonna be Derek White
No.
now.
I know. My question was the maximized potential. What you thought?
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. No, that's fine. I'm more inclined with what Keith said. I see. You also have to remember a lot of these key role players also tend to be no disrespect, 6'4", 6'5". Not that there are no 6'3", 6'2" players, but you also have to remember he's 6'1", and he is going to be a nightmare matchup. Now he's going to be
the ones we've listed are about 6'1", 6'2". Like Bradley 6'2", Beverly I think is 6'1".
So again, and they've been able to hold, but they've been able to hold themselves on potentially one-on-one. And based on what some of these scouts are, they just have some reservation. That's all I'm saying. But to me, the maximum potential that I see Bronny James, not taking his father into consideration, I could potentially see him averaging somewhere between 8-10 points a game and be a solid defender when you need him. Like you said, an Avery Bradley, or even said, or Derek White. That to me would be his maximum potential. Just
I think that's
now,
fair.
the thing
I mean, if
is,
he can develop his shot, he could be like a Pritchard probably.
that's the thing. Not so much the three, not necessarily the three.
I mean, y'all talk about developing a shot, but like
consistent.
he made 12 in a row, and then he shot like
I
20 for like.
I hit the three could be there because he has shown moments, especially in the combine, where he had the second best shooting. So I'm saying there's something there, and it's possible that he has like a reliable and a somewhat consistent, especially if he's like a role player where he's playing those roles and he's just in the corner. I mean, you're taking open corner threes. I mean, you can knock them down at a decent rate. That's all I'm saying.
Which is what the NBA is nowadays.
Yeah.
It's
so it's possible.
Yeah, it is.
Especially like you said it, Pritchard, coming off the bench, and that's really what it's going to be. I personally don't see him as a starter. I don't. I see him more as someone that can last in the NBA potentially somewhere 10 to 12 years minimum, being a role player coming off the bench. But for him to even be considered a starter, he has to hit his jumper consistently. Now, what does that mean?
Another random like side note, he does have a 6'7" wingspan. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't. But again, 6'7", again, the wingspan, and that's where that defensive role comes in.
And who knows? Maybe he'll grow another couple inches.
This takes me back to the whole
He's only 19.
With Caitlin Clark. Let it play out.
That's what I mean.
If the team takes a chance on him, let it play out and see what happens.
But now, here's the kicker now. His dad has a couple of years left. And let's just be honest. There are teams out there that they're not gonna show their hands. But there are teams out there, because right now, Bronny James's agent, obviously his father's agent as well, Rich Paul, said declined 8 teams. Only 2 teams are going to work him out: the Lakers and the Suns. So unless somebody does something drastic, right now you're looking at only 2 teams for the time being. For now, the Lakers and the Suns. I think he's going back to the Lakers. And I think that the Lakers, it wouldn't shock me if they used the first round pick on Bronny James. It wouldn't surprise me, with the fear that someone may draft him in the second round early on. And I don't know what the Lakers' second round pick is. Isn't it like 50 something? I don't know. Somewhere there, 40, 50 or something. Do you think they're going to wait in the second round where Bronny James might be drafted by another team, even though knowing that there's no way that he's going to sign a two-way contract.
I mean, it depends. You said the Lakers have a late draft pick in the second round.
I believe so. If I remember correctly, I
mean,
think 50 something, low 40 something like that, somewhere around that.
I mean, it depends on the other teams. Like if the other teams are gonna like take that shot on Bronny just like a LeBron, then I think they might in the first round, but mainly because of their late second round draft pick.
But I think that the rest of the league actually already made a decision, potentially not drafting Bronny James, because again, his agent said he's only working out for two teams, the Suns and the Lakers. So if you're not one of those two teams, are you going to draft them? I'm not. I'll tell you that right now, because everybody wants to see Kevin Durant, Beal, Booker, James, and of course Bronny James, obviously on the team. The problem that the Phoenix Suns are gonna have is that their salary cap. They're tied next year. They're tied, I believe, $140 million to Durant, Beal, and Booker. If I read the article correct, $140 million. They're tied into that. So what is it gonna cost? Obviously, Bronny James' contract is gonna be dirt cheap by comparison. It's not even close. It's probably pennies, by comparison. What is it gonna cost to get Durant? I'm sorry. LeBron James.
I heard him say he'll take. I do believe a couple years ago there was a thing that LeBron said he would take the veteran minimum to play with his son. That's what I thought I've heard him say.
Right, and remember, I also read where the Suns, they don't have like the mid-level exemption. Those type of deals where I forget, mid-level exemptions where you could offer 8-10 million. Those type of contracts. Because I believe they traded them away, probably getting Beal, getting Durant for that. So they don't really have a lot of bargaining chip either. So I don't know if he doesn't really need the money, if he really wants to play with his son and Phoenix is the option, or he can take the money.
I heard him say to play with his son that he would take a minimum. Now, whether or not he does, I mean, that's we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, if his $1 billion asset is not good enough for him to play and take the league minimum, or the veteran minimum to play with his son, that's the decision he's gonna have to make. But I think they're gonna, at the end of the day, they're going to the Lakers. That's what I think. They're going to the Lakers. I mean, now the question becomes is who's gonna be his 10th head coach?
JJ Redick.
Let me rephrase that.
It's gonna be JJ Redick.
You know what? That's another topic. I can't even get into JJ Redick. So, but
if he stays with LA, I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say about it.
Who does? Oh, who does?
His opinion is they're going to listen to who he wants to bring in.
I mean, let's be honest. They're more than likely they're just gonna cater to him. Me speculating.
I keep hearing JJ Redick and him being like a player coach, basically.
Hey, Byron Scott. Keith, you remember Byron Scott? I'm sure Zachary does too. But Byron Scott, you know what he said, and I believe Tim Hardaway, the dad, not the junior. They both said, "Look, let's be honest." And now, Byron Scott is a Laker, a true Laker. Am I right, Keith? True Laker. His pretty much almost his entire career, true Laker. And he said, "Look, if LeBron James is calling plays, which you have seen verbally on the sideline, give me the clipboard." And he's basically, a lot of people are saying he's pretty much running things. Why not make him into a Bill Russell, a player coach? Why not? I mean, if everyone is saying he's calling the shots, make him into a player coach. And let's see how good he really is. If he's constantly drawing up plays, getting mad and throwing tantrums because a certain play wasn't called or a certain foul. Make him a head coach.
Well, I mean, supposedly he knows plays before they, other coaches even draw him up. They say he has that capability, apparently.
And if that's the case,
he knows when a player is going to drop 81.
Make him into a player coach, and then let's really see how good of a coach he really is. If what they're all saying is true. So, but does anybody have anything else before we move on, or? Because right now, I think we kind of pretty much tackled everything we wanted to do. With that being said, are there any comments from your end, Keith? Any questions, comments from anyone?
Does anybody have their top 5 NBA players
Top 5 NBA players. Oh
Current
man,
or
I
all-
totally
all time?
all time.
of all time of all time.
I
Listen,
mean,
I'm gonna say
I have the 3.
okay.
The main 3. So obviously Jordan, LeBron, and Kareem. Those 3.
I mean, my backcourt. I'm gonna my backcourt is
Wait, like position or like just
No, just players.
just players. Top 5.
You can
okay.
have all centers if you want.
All
All right.
right. That's a lot of scoring against those centers, but yeah, sure.
I'm just saying you can whoever.
I mean, right now, if I had to, oh man, I totally.
I'm going
Go ahead. You
for
want
Magic Johnson.
At 1? Is this an order?
It don't matter. Magic
No.
Johnson,
5?
Michael Jordan, Larry Bird.
You better have them.
I don't.
Have who?
I don't.
You're actually ridiculous.
Who?
Oh,
He doesn't have
Kobe
who?
Bryant and Shaq. Kobe would lock LeBron down. He already has.
He's already wrong. But okay.
He's a, you know, I love you, Zachary. You're my firstborn, but you need to know the word opinion, what that means.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
just
but the opinion's wrong. Like it's a fact.
Oh my god. Okay. All right.
I'll take killer instincts over these blown up numbers anytime.
Okay. Would you like me to pull up the buzzer beating numbers and the final
game winners.
finals numbers and stuff for under 2 minutes that LeBron has done? I mean, I can show you that.
As long as you showed me the ones that he's blown too.
He actually has a higher percentage than Jordan.
About Kobe.
Higher. I
Mm,
could show it to you too. Would you like
it
to see
got
it?
quiet. It got mad quiet.
Oh no, I have everything, but I have it in my.
But
eyes.
my thing's not based off stats or anything. This is just who I would take as a starting 5.
You talked about clutch, but then when I show you clutch numbers, I mean that speaks for itself.
Yeah, but again, it's still opinion. You know, I mean, some people. I know some people don't really take that into consideration, but some people do take
All them.
'Cause that's what
killer
it is.
instinct as a factor. You've got NBA players. Literally,
Let me
yeah.
just say this then. In the last 30 seconds of the fourth quarter and overtime, this is in the playoffs. LeBron is 12 for 23, and then Michael Jordan, Curry, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant are combined 12 for 40.
And who did you mention in that list
playoffs.
after LeBron?
Where is that stat from?
Oh,
Is it a
Did you-
legitimate stat or
Did
does
he,
some,
did
you
he-
know?
did he
Look it
mention
up. That's what
Jordan?
I've
Did he
seen.
mention Jordan? Keith, did he mention Jordan in that stat? Or did he mention
Yeah.
other players?
He said Jordan and Curry and Durant, and I
Yeah,
think
I'm
there was
gonna,
somebody else.
yeah,
Okay, look, this was on the show the Jump. So go ahead shots in final 5 seconds of fourth quarter and overtime NBA postseason careers. Buzzer beater James 4 to Jordan's 3, and then field goals. LeBron is 6 for 13 and Michael Jordan is 5 for 11. So that's 46% to 45%.
And listen, you know what? I'll take that on face value. I won't even dispute that. But it doesn't also change the fact that a lot of these buzzard beaters also led him being in the finals, 4 wins and the most NBA losses with 6. That should say for something. So his buzzard beaters may have counted in certain aspects of the postseason, maybe in the finals. But also remember, last time I checked, I believe he was swept in the finals twice as well. So
Who?
LeBron.
If I recall correctly,
Hey,
Michael
I could be
Jordan
wrong.
has won 6 and has had 9 other seasons where he didn't win at all. So
I
just by
agree.
the fact you
I agree.
make it to the finals and lose, I would still say is better than actually not making the finals at all. I can make that argument.
True, but I don't want to be
But-
4-6 in the finals either. Some people may take that into consideration. I know I'm one of them. Yes,
So
he's
you-
made it.
so you-
Jordan never
so-
lost
so-
the final.
So you'd rather not make it to the finals, lose in one of the first couple of
No, no,
series, than just
That's not
make
what I'm
it
saying.
to the
That's not what I'm
finals?
saying. I want to make the finals. But
That's
if you
what
make
you're
the
saying,
finals,
though.
no, if you make the finals and you lose, you need to be prepared for people to use that stat.
Or how
Against
come?
you.
Or why not just?
And
be
I can
prepared?
bring up mine where, okay, he made it to the finals rather than Jordan didn't make it at all. I can make that argument.
And absolutely you can. And I'm not
right.
going to sit here that you're wrong. But again, you need to understand, okay, if arguably for some you're the GOAT, you need to be prepared to say, oh damn, I made it to the finals 10 but lost 6 times. You just gotta be, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. That's
And
all.
3 of them have been to the greatest teams ever assembled.
Yeah.
That's
I can say
another
that
argument. I get it. But my other argument would be is that Jordan only had one superstar. How many did LeBron have? A boatload.
But I could say Jordan had to have a top 20 defensive player, a top 20 rebounder of all time on his team in order to win. He couldn't win without it. But I can say LeBron could take any team and make it to the finals. I can make that argument.
Wait.
Yes.
You're
It's not
telling
that he
me
couldn't win without it.
No, he couldn't.
That was his
No.
That was his.
Yeah,
that was
he
his
couldn't. He
teammate.
couldn't win without it. When
He
he
made-
had players on
he-
that team that
he made it to
that weren't
Miami.
up there, he couldn't do it.
He
He
made-
couldn't do it.
No, Dad. He said he could make it to the finals with a nobody of a team. Okay.
Yeah,
That's what he
Jordan
said.
was getting
and,
swept.
and he did it. He did it. He went to the Spurs against the Spurs in
Right.
his first few years.
And
guess
that's-
what?
and
Guess
that's-
what
and
happened?
that's- and
And
that's-
guess what happened when he went to Miami? That Cavs team went 19 and like 50.
And what happened when Jordan left? They won 50 plus games. I can make that argument.
You saying you understand and
Yeah.
you agree, and then
But I could sit here and say Jordan won the most scoring
So you-
titles,
so
most
you don't
defensive
agree.
player of the year, most NBA final, most average points per game in the entire career. So we can all say all
I
these
could
things.
say LeBron has more total points, though, more total assists, more
not
total
disagreeing.
rebounds.
But what I'm saying is that one can't simply say, and I'll say that about Jordan too. You can't really say definitely you're wrong that LeBron is the GOAT because there are teammates. As a matter of fact,
well, you said that though.
who?
You've said it.
What? I said to me, he's my
no,
GOAT.
No, but you said that we are wrong and Jordan is. You have said that before.
Yes, that's my opinion. I can say that. He said a fact. He said a fact. I didn't never.
Hold on. You're not listening.
never-
I said the fact that you don't have LeBron in your top 5 is incorrect. Is you're wrong. Now, I'll make the argument that if you say Jordan is better than LeBron, I give that 100% to you because you can make a solid argument.
Yes.
You, however, are saying me having LeBron is completely incorrect and invalid for my opinion. That's where I say you're wrong because I can understand an argument for Jordan. I can respect that.
I've always said that at the very least, no matter where the argument goes or for or against, I've always said LeBron always deserves to be in the conversation. I've always said that. I've always said that, no matter what. But at the end of the day, and there have been other NBA players. Dwayne Wade, his own teammate, for him, his GOAT is Michael Jordan. Now he didn't go into stats, and he basically said because of my era.
I'm not gonna lie, that's irrelevant.
That's
No.
irrelevant.
No, that is irrelevant.
How is that irrelevant?
I
Because
think
that-
bringing in other people's opinions
No,
is irrelevant. This
Right.
person, LeBron. This person. I'm not going to factor in what another person says.
I'm not
for
factoring
my
in.
opinion on it.
Right, but what I'm also
But that's why my opinion, I didn't have him on my list.
Not having him top 5 is crazy.
That's well.
Now, if you say he's
what
not
about
the GOAT,
me picking
that's
Shaq
fine.
over Kareem?
I'm fine
That's
with
not.
that.
That
I
you're
agree
fine with that.
I'm fine with that.
I
But
agree.
having
I
LeBron,
agree.
who literally leads in
listen,
like
I'm gonna
so
give you
many
my top-
categories,
He's
and
played
not top 5,
forever.
he's greater than Larry
Listen,
Bird. That's a
I'm-
fact.
I'm-
That's a fact.
Larry Bird played 13 years. If Larry Bird played as long as him,
But no,
he would not have.
But
the same
did he?
number.
But did he?
You can't say that. But did he?
Again, so I'm
Did he?
giving credit to LeBron for his longevity. Okay.
can't take
Now,
away- you
had
can't
Larry
take
Bird
away
played
20
20 something years, yeah, that we can go from there. But he didn't. We got to talk about what is, not what could have been.
I'm not going to
I'm
take
going
away
off
his
of what
20
is.
I'm not gonna take his 20.
That's like
years.
saying what if
I'm
Jordan? That's like saying what if Jordan didn't take those years off to go play baseball?
I'm not gonna take away his 20 years, but you also have to
But
take
you
into
can't.
consideration the fact that Larry Bird retired because he was injured.
And
You
that's
can't say he only
okay.
played
But
13
how
but
does
he was
that discredit what LeBron has done for
I'm
his
not-
20
I'm not-
years?
I'm not
It is
discrediting.
what it is. He played 13 years, and because he had injuries, other
Yep.
people had injuries. It is
Right.
what it is. I'm not going to talk about what could have been, what
I didn't say
could
what
have
could have
possibly happened. No, I'm talking about what
saying-
is. What is LeBron is Larry played 13 years. LeBron is going on 20 plus still. So I'm
Okay.
going to
Right.
talk about what is.
But my reason for my starting five is because I watched Larry Bird.
No, hold on. Starting 5 or top 5 because
For me,
no. I'm asking because
top 5 of my starting 5 is my top 5.
okay.
No, he said
Well,
top
you said
5,
when
whoever
Jack
you want.
when Jack clarified, he said top 5, or are we doing like a starting 5, 1 through 5? And I thought you said top 5, like who's your greatest of all time top 5. If you have
Yeah.
Larry Bird in your starting 5 over LeBron, that's fine. But I'm talking about. I thought we were talking about GOAT
thought we were talking about
status, like who's
top
top 5 all
No,
time.
just your personal top
me-
5 players.
No,
Okay, that's
let
fine.
me. So it's your top 5 of anything, not starting 5.
Just how I feel. Yes.
Yeah, no, yeah, and I thought when Jack asked that, it was like your top 5 players of all time, like your GOAT top 5.
Yeah.
That's what I
No.
thought. Now, if you want Larry Bird for your preference, that's fine.
Yeah, that's
Fine.
yeah,
That's why I
all.
said incorrect to not have LeBron top 5 as one of the top 5 greatest players. That's what I thought.
Oh no, that's
This-
why I told him he can have
Okay, this is just
five centers if he
miscommunication.
wants.
No, that's okay.
To
Okay.
me, my top 5 in no such order though is my center is Hakeem Olajuwon. I mean,
I was going back and forth between Shaq and
All right, well,
Olajuwon.
my starting 5 all time is
can I finish? I got 4 more.
Oh, my fault.
I'm gonna have my top 5 Bird and Magic. Now, some people, first of all, they backed it up with the numbers, no matter how long they lasted or didn't. But the key that I'm gonna put them in the top 5 to me is without those two, we wouldn't be talking about Jordan or LeBron. That's my viewpoint. And because not only were they able to back it up with the numbers, MVPs, titles, so forth and so on, points, rebounds, and assists, but I'm going to also add the fact that those two single-handedly saved the NBA. That I cannot take away from that. So they're my top 5 because of that. And
That's a
the
fact.
other two, it's going to be, I'll be honest, Jordan and LeBron. Those are my top 5.
Okay. My starting top 5 is so for my point guard, I got Stephen Curry. Okay. For my shooting guard,
What are you doing about position?
for my
Okay.
shooting guard, I'm gonna go with Jordan. My small forward, I got LeBron. My power forward, I got Tim Duncan, and my center, I got Shaquille O'Neal.
Like the Tim Duncan.
That's mine.
I love that. I'm not gonna lie. I love the Tim Duncan. As much as it kills me to say it, but the top 2 power forwards in the NBA, in my opinion, is Tim Duncan and then Kevin McHale. Kevin McHale was arguably the best power forward, so Tim Duncan came into the picture. So
Post up wise, oh my goodness, Olajuwon and McHale stood out from everybody.
I know that's why I have Olajuwon as my center. That's the reason why. So, but with that being said, everybody, Zach, I don't think
I
you
thought we were
said-
doing top 5, but my starting 5.
I did my
Not
top 5.
position, just
Well, no, I'm gonna go.
And to be honest
I
with
did
you,
it by
I'm gonna
position.
make a lineup.
for the record, I'm gonna make the argument that my top 5 is my starting 5.
yeah, me too.
Not me.
I am. I'm saying my
I'd
top 5
probably
is my starting.
I'd probably go Curry, Jordan, LeBron, and then I'd probably go with a stretch 4. So I'd probably go Kevin Durant, and then I like Olajuwon. I'd probably put him at my 5 because that'd be like my lineup if I had to pick a lineup.
But at the
No
end of the-
love for Kobe, just me.
No, that's why I went with
I
Jordan.
mean, you can't go Kobe over Jordan or LeBron because
Because I'm having LeBron run point, and I'm having Curry run
As a
off screens.
facilitator,
Durant's gonna do
run
what
off-
he does.
I mean,
Jordan will
Curry's
get
Curry's
his
passing
points wherever
ability
he
is
wants.
heavily underrated.
I'm not going to. I mean, I'm when it comes to point guard, I'm taking Magic Johnson over Steph Curry. Magic Johnson to
Yeah.
me,
That's fine.
he was listen, even though the whole Laker organization is Showtime, no. He was Showtime. The things that man did, and then as a rookie, playing all five positions and then being a starting center in the NBA finals to win his first title as a rookie, playing all five positions. Nah, I don't know too many players that can say that.
I think LeBron can.
Did he play center? I don't know. I'm asking.
I
don't know.
Actually, I
can't
think
say-
one of the years with the Lakers he did,
I can have him as.
or he was one of the.
How many?
He could guard centers.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
right.
can
But I'm talking
100%
about.
guard.
Actual play center. You not just guard, but
I'm pretty
like
sure
that.
that in some small ball lineups he is like their center in some small ball lineups. I'm almost positive that has happened.
I'm not gonna say yes or no. I just don't.
Like
the
I think
word center and
before
him,
Davis got
like,
there, I think he
I mean,
was running like quite a
how
bit
tall
of
is
center.
LeBron?
Isn't he 6'9"? Right, around 6'9".
I mean, how
Yeah,
tall is
6'8",
Magic Johnson?
6'9".
It's about the
6'9".
same height.
So,
Same
I
height.
mean,
Same height.
Magic was 6'9".
Yeah, 6'9".
6'9".
Yeah.
LeBron's 6'9".
My factoring goes kind of like because I didn't see Jordan and Magic, I kind of like that's like why I would lean more Curry and LeBron, like because I factor that in. So like that's why I would go with
I
those
think
two.
most people factor in their generation and who they saw.
Yeah, like you've
Keith
seen
and
them play, so that's why I'm like I can respect it.
like Keith and I, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've had the pleasure of watching Hakeem Olajuwon, Bird, Magic, Kobe, LeBron, Jordan, and I'm not gonna lie, Keith. I'm actually pretty grateful that I was able to watch all these players, man.
Right.
I mean, I remember when I was at the mall and they had this whole line outside of what was it, Foot Locker, because I guess this was several years ago, the new Jordans came out. I'm looking at keep a bunch of 50, 60. I'm like, what you know about Jordan outside of the shoe? Never seen this guy play. What are you talking about, Jordan? I was like, hey, I was just mocking them, but it was just like me watching these 14, 15, 16-year-olds because there's only 200 pairs available of a player that they never watched. And that to me, but I'm saying, but that to me still signifies the aura that this man still has. Is what I'm also saying.
When I was a kid, every year I waited for the next Converse to come out. The Cons, Larry Bird, black and whites.
That's exactly what it was. The Converse. That's exactly.
And then they changed the name to Cons.
Oh man, they should have just kept it Converse. Oh man. But with that being said, we've actually have a really good show today. I'm not sure if anyone else has anything else to add on any of the topics that we spoke about. If not, I just want to let everybody know thank you for watching our episode. Sorry that we have not been available in the past month, but moving forward, we are planning to actually be having a weekly show at the very least, with potentially down the road multiple shows per week. But we're going to be doing a weekly show. We're going to be committed to that. In any event, in the meantime, if any of you have any suggestions, any topics, please feel free to either send them to us through our YouTube channel or through our Facebook page. Once again, I just want to thank everyone for watching our show, and I appreciate it. And like I always said at the end of the show, God bless everyone, and good night.
Hey, one more thing. And if there's any potential people that might want to join our podcast as a guest, let us know. Email or write it in the comments, and
$40 fee.
we'll see if
There
that's
is
something
no
we could work
fee.
out down the road.
Do not listen to him.
Okay.
That is my youngin. So please, there is no.
You
fee.
could PayPal me Jack1 Sierra. I'll be I'll be here if you want to PayPal me.
Please stop listening to him. So yes, well, Keith just said if anybody wants to join our show and want to be able to give their opinions on topics that we talk about, please feel free to let us know. Send us your email, and either Keith or I will be able to send you the link. And you are more than welcome to come on every episode that we have. So once again, thank you, and everyone have a blessed night as well. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.